Hello, Nick Savage, Private Eye.
This is Peter H. Fillmore at the office of Surety Mutual Insurance Limited here in Denver.
Hi, Mr.
I want you out here. I've just uncovered a racket that has been costing our company a lot of money.
What kind of a racket?
Robberies, grocery store robberies, whole series of them.
What's being taken, cash or goods?
Cash, on Saturday nights, with most discouraging regularity. But with all the facts I can give you, well, I see no reason why you shouldn't be able to round up the gang that's doing this in short order.
You think it's a gang involved?
That's my conclusion, and I'm certain you'll agree with it when I give you the information I have, which means there may be some danger involved in this investigation. However, I understand you're quite used to that sort of thing.
That might be an understatement.
And in view of the importance to our company of putting a stop to these robberies, of bringing the criminals to just can't quibble over your expense account, or even any extraordinary expenses you may incur. And Dollar, there will also be the customary fee. The commission for any recovery of actual money you may be able to have. More than ample compensation, I would say, for the fact your own life may be endangered. So expect you out here on the first possible plane flight. Goodbye, sir.
What?
Of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Nick Savage, Private Eye.
Thirsty people everywhere prefer ice-cold cola. And because it's light, it refreshes without filling.
Charlie, be sociable.
The favorite of thirsty people from Maine to Hawaii, from Alaska to Florida.
Charlie, that's helpful, but
This is the sociable part. Remember,
singing still sounds more inviting. May I? Be sociable, look smart, keep up to date with Pepsi. Drink light, refreshing Pepsi. Stay young and fair and debonair. Be sociable, have a Pepsi. You do that.
And now, Act One of
Nick Savage, Private Eye.
Saturday Night Matter.
Expense account submitted by investigator Nick Savage to Surety Mutual. Here are the expenses I incurred during the case of the Saturday Night Matter. After including an extra box of 38 shells in my suitcase, I paid $177 for a flight from Hartford, Connecticut to Denver, Colorado.
All over the state, in a regular pattern. A pattern that has finally, today, enabled me to realize there's a connection between these robberies. And in the first place, you must understand that insurance against loss of actual cash, well, not many companies issue it, without limit. However, since virtually all of our accounts are the commercial type, you understand what I mean by that.
So. Instead of individual life and home policies.
Manufacturing plants, merchandising organizations, that sort of thing. Including a great many stores, both large and small, including 50 or more grocery stores, supermarkets. It was my own idea to insure them against unlimited loss by robbery, and I must say it's increased our number of clients considerably.
Yeah, I can imagine. But aren't the premiums for that kind of protection pretty high?
Oh, very high. As a result, the company has shown a very nice profit over the past couple of years. But of course, if these robberies continue...
Yeah, you see there's been a definite pattern.
Yes. To begin with, every one of them has occurred on a Saturday night.
When the markets are likely to have more cash on hand than usual, right? How many robberies have there been?
So far, 8.
It's about time you were catching up with them.
Exactly. The robbers have forced their way in at gunpoint, just as the owner, alone, was about to lock up and leave. In each case, there have been 2 of them, wearing nylon stockings over their faces by way of disguise. One of them, tall and husky, the other one, short and thin. That's about as much description as we've been able to learn from the store owners.
There's not much to go on.
There's been no real coordination of police effort in these robberies.
Because they've all occurred in different towns.
Exactly. And that brings us to the important part of the pattern.
What's that?
Which I only realized this morning. Whereupon I called you immediately.
What do you got?
The first was right here in Denver. The next in Pueblo, then Colorado Springs, Aurora, Lakewood, Englewood, Greeley. Last Saturday, a week ago tonight, the Casey Market over in Boulder was robbed. True to pattern.
I'm not really following you. What pattern are you talking about?
Denver, the largest city in the state. Then Pueblo, the next largest. Colorado Springs, next in size to Pueblo. Then Aurora.
And so on down the line?
Exactly.
And the last robbery was where?
Just a week ago. So there may be another one tonight.
Ah. If you know the population of the various towns in the state as well as you seem to, you got to be able to tell me where they'll go next. Whether it's tonight or next Saturday or whatever.
Well, that's just the trouble.
What do you mean?
Until I get the latest population figures, well, I don't know. It'll be either in Wheat Ridge, barely northwest of Denver here, or in Grand Junction,
How far away is that?
some 260 miles.
Oh, great.
The last figures I have show 18,014 in Wheat Ridge, 18,021 in Grand Junction. But that may have changed.
And there's no way of checking on that?
Not before tonight, when there may be another robbery. Yet somehow you must decide on one of those towns and be there to prevent it.
I have to decide.
Of course. And I'm certain you realize how important your decision is.
Sure.
Wheat Ridge or Grand Junction? Oh, come on, man. There isn't much time.
Let me see if I have a quarter in my pocket.
Hmm?
Yeah, there we go.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Pretty important decision, huh? Okay then. Heads, I go to Wake Ridge. Tails, I go to Grand Junction.
What?
Can you think of a better way?
Talk about best-selling records. Here's a familiar tune about America's best-selling filter cigarette. Do-do, 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 do-do-do. And you know, that's because choice, flavorful tobaccos, specially selected and specially processed for filter smoking, like a cigarette should.
And now, Act Two of the Saturday Night Matter.
Now, say you think you can determine which city this gang of grocery store robbers will hit by the flip of a coin?
I
This is
asked you,
ridiculous.
can you think of a better way? Well,
Don't you see, if you go to Wheat Ridge, they strike in Grand Junk, we'd have to pay off another big insurance claim. Perhaps thousands of dollars. Hold you responsible. Yes.
me?
Responsible for what, Mr. Fillmore?
Huh? Most this...
Easy, PH.
Oh, Albert Berry, my assistant.
How are you?
Albert is the one who really built up this plan of mine for insuring the stores against loss of cash.
And if you want my opinion, PH, and I've said this before, we'd better stop issuing any more such policies right away.
No.
Cancel those that are outstanding. Give them a rebate and forget this whole thing.
No, Albert. Admit that we're beaten by a bunch of crooks? You know I wouldn't.
Yes, I know you wouldn't. But I still think you should. If we have to face any more of these losses...
Let me worry about the losses. You just keep running up your nice big commissions on those policies and be glad you're getting them.
No, sir.
Well, what do you mean by that?
I mean that I won't lecture. PH.
Well,
PH, I'd rather leave the company than have to continue feeling responsible as I do.
responsible? For what?
Don't you understand, sir? I'm the one who sold the policies. And if any more of these robberies occur...
Oh, don't worry, my boy. They won't. Thanks to my perceptive mind, a little ingenuity, my own deductions.
How will you know where the gang plans to operate next?
Well, of course
Easy,
he will.
Al.
At least. Well,
What's this?
What?
Tails. Okay, that means I'm about to go to,
Yes? Where?
good heavens,
Yes.
man.
Keep
What if these criminals...
keep your shirt on, Mr. Fillmore. If they hit the other town on the list, they won't stand a chance of getting away with it there
How can you
either.
be sure?
Just leave it to me. Trust me. I'll see you later. I gotta get busy. Coin had come up tails. I was headed to Grand Junction. I know it's crazy, but that's the way it was. Since it was afternoon, I'd have to make good time to get there. First, I drove to the police station in Wheat Ridge.
Well, sure, the supermarket's just a couple of blocks south of here. Don't worry. They hit again tonight, and that's their target. They won't stand a chance. Well, now, wait. What if they pick Grand Junction? You want me to phone the boys in the department over there?
No, that won't be necessary. I'm heading on over there right now.
Good. It's better than me trying to explain this complicated pattern you've stumbled on.
Yeah.
Now, your man there in Grand Junction is Lieutenant Dick Speidel. You tell him you've talked to me, and he'll do anything you want. He's a nice, cooperative guy, and he knows his way around.
Can't be sure they'll operate again tonight. Maybe they'll skip a week.
We'll still be ready for them if they follow their pattern. So will the boys in Grand Junction.
Okay. Thanks, Sergeant. I'll be in touch. I picked up Route 6 and headed out west. The traffic was light, so I made good time over the broad winding highway. And I'll say this, it's a mighty beautiful drive through that country. Maybe with luck sometime I'll get back there someday. I stopped for long enough to gas up and get a sandwich. And then drove on, hoping an early sunset wouldn't spoil such a beautiful scene. But, you know, staring at that scenery was my undoing. I didn't pay attention to the car behind me following me, and it finally caught up with me near a short detour a few miles from the junction. The highway was wet from the melted snow. I slowed down, but he drew up on me and knocked me on the left side, threw me into a spin.
Hey, what the...
Act 3 in just a moment.
Meet star Stuart Irwin.
Nothing's worse for an actor than a nasty cold. To feel better quickly, I take wonderful 4-way cold tablets. A fast way to relieve cold distress.
Right. Tests of all the leading cold tablets prove 4-way fastest acting. 4-way starts in minutes to relieve muscular pains, headache, reduce fever, calm upset stomach.
Take my advice. For your next cold, take 4-way cold tablets.
4-way, only 29 cents.
And now Act 3.
Nick Savage, Private Eye.
Things were a little vague after my car got pushed off the road on the way into Grand Junction. I remember lying there in the wreckage, cold, very cold, but unable to move. Then that state highway patrolman pulled me out from underneath the steering post, and I remember passing out again when I got into the car. I remember being wheeled along on a stretcher through a long corridor, the smell of antiseptics, and the sight of a hand with a hypodermic above my left arm.
Soft, warm, comforting darkness. Soft, warm, comforting darkness.
Then, when I finally came to, and there was sunlight streaming through the hospital window,
Just take it easy.
What?
Take it easy and get some rest, and you'll be all okay. I'm Lieutenant Dick Speidel. Sergeant Keesley over at Wheat Ridge called about you to make sure everything was all right over here. You're in Grand Junction, you know.
Yeah, did they get the guy behind the robbery? Last night, was it?
No trouble at all over there. Nothing happened. So far, we haven't been able to get a lead on it. It was the Bluebird supermarket right down the street from here. Over $3,000. A set of tire marks, same as from the car that ran you off the road, but that's all. Except for one thing. Look, you're in no shape to worry about this thing. You need a lot of rest. But when you're up... Well, when Barnaby Schultes came out here from the west and opened that mark, well, always when somebody comes here with a lot of money, I run a check on it.
And there's one more thing, what?
Schultes has a record of stock manipulations and phony bankruptcies across the country as long as your arm.
Yeah?
Worth thinking about, isn't it? Now, you lie here quietly and think about it. In case you're thinking about getting out of here and doing something about it, well, it just happens I have a man outside the door to see that you don't. You take care of yourself.
Munch, munch, munch a bunch of Fritos, corn chips. It's not polite to smack your lips, but you can't help it with Fritos, corn chips. Munch, munch, munch a bunch of Fritos, corn chips.
Fritos are the perfect after-school or between-meal snack. Golden chips of corn just made to munch. A nutritious treat for children and grown-ups alike. Fritos corn chips are full of such good, crisp flavor, such good-for-you nourishment. There's contentment in every munch.
Munch, munch, munch a bunch of Fritos, corn chips.
Whenever you want good munching, get Fritos corn chips. Whenever you want to add zip to a lunchbox, to salad, soup, or sandwiches, serve Fritos corn chips. They're America's favorite. Golden chips of corn just made to munch. Fritos, Fritos corn chips.
Munch, munch, munch a bunch of Fritos, corn chips.
Now, Act 4 of
Nick Savage, Private Eye. Early the next morning, I was out of the hospital and back in Denver at the office of Peter Criminal. I was sure I had a lot of the answers to this case, and I told him so. Sure, it's an open invitation to robbery. Well, don't you see? The market owners, they could arrange these robberies themselves. Not only collect them insurance, but they get cut out of whatever was taken.
Yes, go on.
Yeah, sure. Didn't you tell me that the owners couldn't seem to come up with a very good description of the crooks? Couldn't or wouldn't?
Every man has a price.
Nah, that isn't the answer. Well, not every man. Somebody's been getting to him.
See, that means the ringleader must be someone who knows exactly which of the markets has bought this type of insurance from us. Exactly.
Sure.
No, but good heavens, I simply can't believe
Better
it.
start thinking of somebody right here in your own office. Because he could clean up on this operation both ways. By getting a nice fat commission on the policies that he sells, then by arranging the robberies and getting a cut off of them.
Albert. But you better not move, either one of you. Albert, I heard everything. You should have made it so obvious that you went through my files before I got here.
That's right, I did. See how your list of policies compare with the market that's been held up. It was a dead giveaway, Al. I mean, you pulling those jobs, the same order as the insurance that you sold, starting with the biggest accounts, the biggest towns, and working on down. It's pretty stupid, Al.
All right. Ever seen a gun with a silencer?
Al, don't be a stupid idiot. Please, you think I'd be foolish enough to come over here alone, knowing what I know about you?
What are you talking about?
Police. What else?
Oh, sure. Standing right outside the door.
That's right.
Waiting. Don't try to be cute. Won't work. Huh? That's right. No, listen, Sergeant. Yes? Just relax, Al. Enough to let that thing drop out of your hand. Gently.
Thanks, Sergeant. Sure. In the hope that it might make things easier for him, Al produced the punks that had been working with him who actually pulled the jobs. And then he came up with most of the dough from the robberies. But you know something? I doubt it'll do him much good. Or the store owners that played along with him. Expense account total, including hospital bill, 30101. And I'll leave the card that's directed to you. Nick Savage, Private Eye.
Our star will return in just a moment. Now, here is our star to tell you about next week's program.
Next week, down to Sarasota, Florida, for a case of the almost perfect crime. Nick Savage, Private Eye.
Directed by Jack Johnstone. Heard in our cast were Bartlett Robinson, James McCallion, Forrest Lewis, and Russell Thorson. Be sure to join us next week, same time and station, for another exciting story. This is John Wall speaking.
This is the CBS Radio Network.
This is Jim Amici, and experts say it'll mark the beginning of the world's most productive years, a boom time. But let's remember that there are still millions in this small world who do not have enough to eat. People who need shelter, people who need medicines, people who need a kindly helping hand. So it's time to give like 60. A time to renew the treasury of the worldwide organization, which last year held 40 million people in 40 different countries. This year, there's a new magic in giving. Every dollar you contribute releases $30 worth of the hungry and homeless overseas. Give Empire State Building, New York. It's a small world. Let's make it a better one.
Radio 59, Albany, New York. WROW, the Tri-Cities #1 station for news.